LG gang.
Oh, that's a lot better.
I knew that's what she wanted, you know what I'm saying? But we're going to go back to what we were talking about.
Yeah, we've been driving, guys, and it was a great conversation, so I was like,
so
what else to continue?
I mean, one of the things, you know, like, through everything we've been through, no matter what, we make it, just like you said before, we fuss, fight, whatever. We might not talk for a day or so, but, you know, we might make that, I might step out and make the text. You might step out and make the text to where it's like, hey, are you okay? And then the other one still replies, yeah, everything's good, but we go deeper at that point. And at that point, that's when we really are like, okay, so now I see that there's a little more to it now that I can read it, because for some reason, it works better for us. We're both, we're not as good verbally or orally through communicating as we are writing it down and communicating.
Yeah, I think that's when the strongest conversations come from, because and you get to understand it a little bit better, you know, because you're not getting cut off, and not getting cut off, and that you're really thinking about it, because you're reading every single word, like you're not missing it.
Because when we're talking verbally, we're always in the moment. No matter how hard we try to pull ourselves out of it, we're still in that moment. And as long as you're in that moment, you can't get past that moment. But when we sit down and we start writing about it, we can think about that moment. We can think about the last moment. We can think about what might come for the next moment, and we start preparing for those things. You know, like I was telling you, you know, you can never. I've never stopped learning you, and just like I told you like a couple months ago, I'm still trying to catch on to who you are now.
Yeah.
I don't. It's not a bad thing, because when you text me and you're like, I'm growing up. I'm trying to be a big girl now. It's like, well, I wasn't joking. It wasn't a joke when I said I'm proud of you, because I really was proud of you. Like, I love watching you grow.
Because now, like before, I was an adult. Like, I was adulting, you know. But I always say that little phrase or statement or whatever that dude made in, what's that movie?
I'm still trying to think of the phrase or statement.
Well, yeah, well, he told her, because she was freshly divorced. Single Moms Club.
Oh.
And he told her, he said, it's nothing wrong with the way you've been living, and there's nothing wrong with the choices that you made or anything like that. You've just been walking blindfolded, you know, throughout life. You've just been, not blindfolded, you've just been sleepwalking your whole life. And that's kind of how I felt. Like, that's really how I felt before I started the LG journey and stuff like that. I just thought that I was just going through the motion. That's what I'm supposed to be doing. But then I started, I don't know when it was. It was probably like a week around when Kelly started her vlog.
Yeah.
I just started thinking, I'm like, I have a voice, and I know that people want to hear it, you know, or it'll be beneficial to somebody, you know. But that's how I felt. And now I'm just like, it's like a new me type thing. And the best thing about it is, you knew me before, during, and you'll know me after I figure myself out, or figure this thing out that we call life, you know.
I mean, as far as it goes, like me
and marriage,
I can't help it. I got two sides that I constantly have to try and fight back and forth. But now that I'm learning how to, well, it's not even now that I'm learning. Now that I'm implementing more how to control Dre.
The Gemini.
I'm getting better at being Michael.
Yeah.
You know, there are some points where I'm like, maybe I lost myself. But now, you know, after we've been talking, I can look back. It's not that I lost myself. I just found a new me. Like, I closed that last chapter and I started a new one, and I'm kind of happy with this chapter. I want to see how it turns out, you know. And I know we can grow far from here. And all it does is make us stronger every freaking time. Oh no. But one of the main things we were saying about all this is, in a relationship, marriage, however you want to look at it, if it's something you really want, if it's something you're really trying your best to obtain, understand you're going to have problems. It's one of those things in life that's guaranteed. Yeah. They always tell you, you know, one of the things that old folks used to say, The only things in life that are guaranteed are death and taxes. Yeah, those are guaranteed. So in a relationship, one of the things that is guaranteed, the person that you are with now was not the person that you met. The person that you met will evolve into someone else. You may have thought they were the right one then, but you don't know how much of the right one they are until they finish growing. And at the same time, you have to be willing to grow. And what we were saying is, if you stop trying to learn your partner and what they're going through or what they're becoming, then you gave up on your relationship. And one thing we can honestly say about each other and to each other is we've been through some shit.
Yeah.
And we've learned a lot about each other through the shit that we've been through. You know, it's not even just the being in the hospital, that type shit. I'm talking about real life shit. And that's what helped us learn each other and get a better understanding of each other to keep this relationship going. Because one thing about us, we've been together for a long time, but it's really weird when people look at us and they're like, y'all still date? Y'all still act like y'all just met?
We have a date night tonight.
Point in case. But we do that because, one, for us, it helps us keep that. I go back to Love Jones for most of my stuff. You know, when Darius said, when people say they fell out of love, it's not that they fell out of love. They exhausted all the possibilities. We don't exhaust possibilities because every time we feel like one is going away, we find something else to add on. We find something else to try because we want this to work. You have to go into it with the mentality of, no matter what, this is what I want. And if that's the type of mentality you go into it with, that's how you end up with that strong bond and long loving relationship. It's not something you're doing out of moral or just humanly obligation. It's something you're doing because that's what you feel you need to do at that moment to make sure that you are happy for the rest of your life.